In my opinion, shooting is one of the most finely orchestrated activities using fine motor skills that a human being can really do. It takes years of practice, and it's not something that you just, fall into. Now, relatively speaking, if you fall into a family that is professional in shooting, then a lot of your upbringing is going to be revolving around that environment, just like people who grow up in a family that has a military lineage. They kind of fall into understanding that and possibly even serving themselves to continue that lineage or what have you. So aside from all that, shooting is one of the most complicated tasks that a human being can do because most of it is fine motor skills. And some people believe that a lot of it can be done with gross motor skills, and some things we need to use gross motor skills. Well, here's a reality check for you. Most of what we're doing in shooting is fine motor skills. The only thing that I can really think of that is a fine motor skill or a gross motor skill is actually a fine motor skill because of the amount of coordination required. You can't just check out and actually maintain that level of coordination. That stuff doesn't stick. What does stick is stuff that has become habitual, and that means that things need to be practiced. Going to an 8-hour course is not going to get that. I think we've already covered that and beat that dead horse, but I'm going to continue saying it until people stop doing it. I'm not saying don't go to training, but be smart and don't be an idiot and not take notes. But the only gross motor skill that I can think of that's not really much of a gross motor skill is once you have grabbed your pistol out of your holster, it's extending out to the target. Now, again, this is not very much of a gross motor skill because guess what? You are not a natural pointer. I am tired of people saying that. It is not natural. If you don't understand that, then maybe you need to look at, neurology a little bit closely and see what we actually do. What is the brain doing when it's pointing? Oh, well, it's probably using visual stuff too. I'm pretty sure you can't close your eyes and point exactly to this star right here. Try it. Just close your eyes and point exactly to that star. Actually, make your finger touch it. You can't do it because guess what? It's not natural. It is not a natural coordination that you have. And a lot of it, you're not actually pointing exactly at it. Perceptively, you are. But that's not even hand-eye coordination. So when you have a firearm and you're trying to level it up to your line of sight, that's the reason why people have so many issues when they first start shooting a pistol, is going from that draw and being right on target. And that's why they'll have people draw, close their eyes, draw, and open their eyes and see where they're at, and then they have to shift around. If you were a natural pointer, this wouldn't be a problem, would it? So it's not really much of a gross motor skill, is it? Alright, so how about reloading, racking the slide? How is that a gross motor skill when people miss it if they're not looking at the gun? A lot of people do. And a lot of people have short-shucked or, just failed to grab it to begin with because they don't get a good enough grip. I'm sorry, but that's a very small thing. It is a very fine motor skill to limit your range of motion because, again, you're grabbing and you're pulling back just enough to release it to get back on your grip. Well, if you're going to do gross motor skill, then you need to start out here and go back all the way, and then find your, target or whatever. The perception of gross motor skill versus fine motor skill is nauseatingly, misconstrued in the shooting industry. A lot of people will credit gross motor skills for things that are not gross at all. They are not using big muscle groups. They are requiring a lot of coordination. If there were a lot of gross motor skills, then a lot of the performance issues that people have wouldn't exist. Other than that, I have no opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and you guys have a good one.